Всем доброе утро. Мы бежим до машины. В общем, сегодня должен быть открытый мастер-класс Деноны, Наташи Деноны в Москве, в SEPHORе, в АВИАПарке. И я очень хочу туда попасть. Мне очень-очень страшно, что там будет. Но сейчас мы бежим на тренировку вот с этим клевым парнем. Вот. А после этого я буду собираться и вперед. Да. Да. В общем, я бы сказала, что тренировка прошла нормально, но я умудрилась очень сильно подвернуть ногу. Я уверена на 100%, что у меня по меньшей мере растяжение. И думаю, по большей мере у меня растяжение. Я, наверное, приложу фотку, чтобы вы думали, что я не выдумывала, но я планирую отстоять сегодняшний день. Да, я, наверное, слишком отчаянная.
Да.
Да. Вот. А пока я крашусь в машине. Знаете, что самое обидное в растяжении? Даже, больно, да, фиг с ним. Это я переживу. Обидно, что я какое-то время тренироваться не смогу, а мне очень хочется.
Это пакет со льдом. И честно, это ужасно. Это очень-очень плохо. Ладно, заматываемся.
Кстати, вот примерно так я смогла накраситься в машине. Было непросто, но вроде вышло не совсем ужасно.
Можно сказать, вы сможете ее брать куда угодно, неважно, любитель ли вы макияжа или профессиональный визажист. И там очень... Итак, сейчас стартует открытый мастер-класс от звездного визажиста, бьюти-гуру, celebrity makeup artist, бизнес-леди, основательница собственного бренда Наташи Деноны. Снова аплодисменты.
Hi, I'm so sorry. I was a little bit late. You have a lot of traffic in this city. I didn't know. Do you guys need a translator?
Yeah, we have a translator. I will be your personal translator during the day.
И здесь будет небольшой дисклеймер от меня, или большой дисклеймер от меня. Дело в том, что переводчик в тот день абсолютно не справлялась со своей работой. Я не хочу сказать, что она плохой переводчик, возможно, она специализируется на чем-то другом, не знаю, там, на юриспруденции, строительстве, не знаю, заводах, но конкретно в тот день она не подготовилась к данному мероприятию и не посмотрела бьюти-тематику, и поэтому она совершала просто колоссальное количество ошибок. Я, конечно, почти весь ее перевод полностью убрала, но если вы хотите немножечко поумиляться на то, насколько Денона душевнейший человек, и посмеяться над тем, какие ошибки делала переводчик, то я предлагаю вам обязательно досмотреть это видео до конца, потому что после титров вас ждут просто милейшие моменты с Деноной и просто смешнейшие моменты с переводчиком, поэтому обязательно смотрим до конца, и самое время написать, что мастер-класс начинается с этой минуты.
Perfect. So, yeah, good. I will immediately start. Fans of our official launch at SEPHORA Russia. I'm so happy to
Большое спасибо,
launch
SEPHORA.
here. SEPHORA Russia. Woo! I'm very happy to launch in Russia finally because I know for many years people want my products to be launched here. So I'm happy that it's finally happening. We will do. I will do a demo for 40 minutes. And I will show you I will try to make it as simple as possible with a simple eye makeup using the Biba palette. You know the Biba palette?
И так, сегодня...
Okay, oh, you prepped your skin already? I mean, you cleaned it a little bit? Okay, I will start off with a primer. I'm using the lifting primer. Lifting primer is a primer for every skin type, and Anna has mixed skin, which means a little bit oily in the T-zone and dry on the sides. I've chosen this primer because it's good for all skin textures. You also have a primer for very, very dry skin, which is very, very good if you want to achieve a glow and dry skin and the cold weather. Always when you use glow products, they kind of, the skin is drinking their hydration and it looks always dry. And this gives a beautiful, like kind of hydrating finish. So the glow always looks fresh and real. With the eye makeup, usually I don't do that. Usually I do first foundation, but I'm so kind of very excited and I will make your her face very dirty, so I start with the eyes, and then with foundation I want to focus on the glow and to look it clean. So I'm starting with the eyeshadow base, because it's always very important to use a good primer for your eyeshadows. I mean, you could... Oh, my phone. My mic doesn't work. Usually, I always say my... Oh my gosh, I'm shouting. Eye primer, eyeshadow base. This is eyeshadow base and this is the concealer. It's different. It's smaller, just the cap is a little bit shorter, and it says eyeshadow base. Okay, the eyeshadows, my formula is so good that you even can apply my eyeshadows on bare skin. But it's always good to have a clean base, because sometimes you have like dark circles on your eyelids and you want like a clean canvas for the eyeshadows. Okay, so I put also a little bit on the lower lash line, because you can use this also on the lower lash line. Let's start. I didn't even think what I'm gonna do, because I always like to see the person, the model, in person, and then to decide what's the most beautiful look for her. Let's think, what do we want to do? I want to do something that is super wearable, and to show you how I'm trying really to do something as simple as possible, but to show you some tricks how to easily and effortlessly to achieve a soft smoky eye makeup look. A few words about the Biba eyeshadow palettes. Or in general, my eyeshadow palettes, they come mostly in 15 pans that have matte eyeshadows, metallics, and also sparkling eyeshadows. And I have very unique matte cream, kind of matte, wet matte eyeshadows, because to make the life for the blending easier. For example, in the Biba palette, it's the only palette I put a black eyeshadow inside, because black eyeshadows usually make the other eyeshadows dirty, but this one is a cream powder eyeshadow, a wet powder. And all my eyeshadow palettes, they have a system, so it will be very easy for you guys to achieve looks and to choose the right eyeshadows for every look. Okay, so for example, this palette is very easy to use. So if you look only at the top row, it has kind of a brown yellowish undertone, and you can use the whole row for a whole look. And the same thing with this center row, you can see that they are red undertoned. And then the bottom row is for smoky eyes. You see black with grays.
Можете использовать все эти оттенки по вертикали для того, чтобы добиться полноценного макияжа.
As well as diagonal rows. Mathematica, geometry. Okay, and quads. Quads, you can always choose also to create a whole eye look. My eyeshadows are very rich in pure pigments, in high quality ingredients. So they're very expensive in making, because they're the highest quality in the world. And the reason is that I want to make, you know, the formulas that I create, I do them myself together with a chemist. Every single formula of the whole brand. It's not just about, you know, formulas are very complicated to create. If you want to have a lot of pigments, a lot of payoff, a lot of crystals and pearls inside, you have to create an amazing formula that will show the pigments on the skin as well, and will be easy to use. Makeup, user-friendly and healthy. First, I'm starting with Freckle. This is a medium, kind of medium light transition shade, and it's a classic pressed powder formula. And the way to apply my eyeshadows, usually I like to use fluffy brushes that are dense, not too soft. And you don't have to press a lot. You can just work like with feather light blending. So not really pressing, I'm kind of a little bit pressing and blending at the same time. Okay, and when you do this, this is kind of a step just to open up the eyes. So always, also if you have like hooded eyes, you have to work above the crease. Using this just to blend the first shade a little bit. So a little bit like inwards on the lid, and also on the top border underneath the brow bone. And then I'm taking the lighter shade, which is called Tusk. And this you can just swish around just to have an even transition to your skin tone. Okay, so a little bit more here. Just always make sure to keep a little bit of, you know, like empty space between the brow and your eyeshadow. Now I'm taking a smaller brush. It can be a pencil brush if you have, or just a flat smudging brush. I'm taking this now for, look out please, just to smudge a little bit underneath. And you can work pretty thick because thin lines underneath your eyes makes your eyes look very small. And now I'm picking like my smallest brush. Let's take Pasha. Pasha is a deep burgundy shade. And what I'm doing, I'm trying to lift up the eye, which means that I'm starting the line really close to the angle of the eye. Always start thick at the corner of the eye, and when you get to the outer third, you have to finish the line thin. This will lift the eye automatically. And don't drag it to the center of the eye, then you will make your eyes droop. I'm dragging this a little bit upwards, and then what I'm doing, close your eyes please, I'm just dragging this downwards towards the outer third of the upper lash line. This is what I do to most of the eye shapes. The only eyes that I don't like to work thick on the outer lower lash line are eyes that have a drooped shape. So now I'm taking rayon. This is also burgundy shade, but it's lighter and it's a wet powder. Now this will be easy to blend with because it's a kind of a cream powder. You see, and I'm going really on top of the upper border of the dark shade. And you see how it easy is to combine between these shades, and it turns out to be very soft and smoky. Do you like it so far? It's very strange. It's very strange right now, but slowly it starts to become to get a certain shape, and it will be very, very beautiful on the eyes. I love eye makeup. I think eye makeup is one of the most important parts in makeup because it's so expressive. It shows your eyes. You can play with eyes and make them talk. And now I'll take another brush, just a little bit bigger, to blend and soften it. Now for this, I'm taking tone again, and I'm swirling around just to blend everything out. See, it's very soft now. Sometimes when I do demos, then I have a hard time to work symmetrically, so if it's a little bit different, I'm sorry, because I'm here, I hardly see what I was doing there, so I'm sorry. You know, as a makeup artist, usually you just stand in front of your client or your model, and then you just see the symmetry. Now I will take a brush just to blend the lower border. For this, I'm taking Buff, and which is a little bit lighter than the dark shade, and I'm blending it really very carefully on the border, going out and connecting with the upper blend. When you get out, you just do a motion like a V shape. You see, V, V, V. Okay. And taking a little bit more of the dark just to make it softer and smokier. For the glam, I will use Monroe. This is a metallic eyeshadow. So with this palette, you can just create any look. You can do everyday looks with the matte and neutral shades, and then you can also make a very dramatic smoky eye with all the black, with the black and the grays, and also black with the burgundy, black with the brown. And you can also create a glam look. So you use the metallic ones. And for the metallic eyeshadow formula, I personally like to use my finger because it gives the strongest payoff too, and most foiled finish. And then in the transition between the darker shades and the light shade, you can just use a clean finger just to blend in between. And now, to go into the inner corner, I'm taking a brush that is more a precision brush, and I go in like deep into the crease of the nose. If this is not kind of enough for you, or if this is kind of a day look for you and you want to smoke it up for the evening, you can either with a small brush pick up the black eyeshadow and then go and move in on the top of the lip of the lash line, or you can just also put a little bit more black upwards and blend it out. And then you just take another last brush. I like to use an angled brush that has an angle with the black eyeshadow, and I just with tapping motions and blending it upwards until it blends beautifully into the other shades. Yeah. And if you have a very hard time to blend the black, I'm like, in purpose, I'm trying not to blend too much. Then you just pick up a medium shade and blend around the black to achieve a soft finish. Yeah, so kind of, I hope it was not too complicated and that you've learned some things from the professional world for yourself, you know, some tips or tricks that you now discovered and you can use them at home. You see, and I blend until I see it's really soft enough for me. And you know, many mistakes I see sometimes people make. They work with dark eyeshadows too high. Keep the dark eyeshadows close to your lash line until the crease. A little bit blending up, and then use only transition shades, medium transition shades on top. Okay, now I'm going to clean this. And we need foundation X Plus, yes. This is the latest foundation I've launched. It has almost full coverage and with a radiant finish. You can find many matte finished foundations with full coverage, but radiant finishes with full coverage, you don't have so much. I think almost not at all. I don't know right by now, but when I launched Foundation X Plus, I felt like it's revolutionary. Okay, you have to mix it well because it's water-based. Feels very lightweight, and it's an anti-aging powerhouse. It's very healthy on the skin. It's like skincare. It's like serum. I usually like to apply first with a foundation brush. I like to do it also that way when I do my own makeup in the morning. I don't have a lot of time, I just go with the brush. But afterwards, oh no, what I wanted to explain to you actually is sometimes people like to apply foundation also with their fingers. It's fine, but then it's kind of thicker. And if you have extra time, then you can also take after this a makeup sponge and then press the foundation into your skin, and then the texture of the foundation becomes one with your skin. I find this shade is actually a little bit too pinkish for her skin tone. Do you see that? She's more yellowish. This is something you have to take care, and you really have to make sure to choose your right foundation. It's very important that the foundation will look like your skin. You see now it becomes more like hers. Do you see that? Now I like it. We'll use the Transfixed Concealer. Transfixed Concealer is a very lightweight concealer with a matte finish. This is NY, right? I can't see. Okay, 5R. R is a red undertone, so it will neutralize this dark. For the dark circles, if you have dark circles, you always have to use a concealer that is a corrector, which usually has more like an orange or red undertone. Now, about this concealer, for example, you can just use it without powder. And I like to apply with a sponge. This one also you can apply with finger. I do it on myself with a finger. Then, if you want to highlight a little bit your outer part of the cheek, then you can use a neutral shade. You see, this is more like a corrector, more like pink, orangey, and then this one is more neutral. With highlight. This will lift the cheekbones. Okay, a little bit more. If you have many fine lines in this area, then I recommend just to put a little bit of foundation that is hydrating. Then I still have to blend a little bit, heal the lines, so it will open up the eyes. You know, harsh lines, the eye, it will always make the eyes look small. But when you blend and soften lines, they will always open up the eye. Even though it's far away from the eye, there was something happening, something beautiful happening to the eye when you blend this. And it's more photogenic. Like for professionals, it's very important for photo shoots and lighting to have a soft finish. Do you see a little bit of difference between these two eyes? A little bit, it just softens and opens up the eye. Okay, so now I want to just fix here something a little bit. So I'm using again rayon, and this is it. And what I didn't tell you, the shade you have to use for blending the lower lash line on the border, what I just did now, you always use a transition shade, something very natural. Okay, curling lashes. You good? Do you curl your lashes, guys?
Yes.
No?
Yes.
Yes. No? Yeah. mean, if you have naturally curled lashes, then you don't have to. I like to use this tool here. Do you know that tool? I don't know if you need it for yourself, but if you have a problem and trouble working clean with mascaras, this could really help you. Anna has white set eyes. In this case, it's always beautiful to use a little bit of contour or shading in the inner corner of the eye. So I'm using one of these eyeshadows here that is kind of this transition shade with a very large and fluffy eyeshadow brush. And you see how it opens up her eye and gives more proportion to her face. You see, I'm just placing it into the socket and working upwards like a visher in the car and connecting with the blend of the outer eyeshadows. Anna, you are very good. You can use a little bit of sculpting powder. It's like a bronzer but neutral, and going down along the nose. This is great if you have a wide nose, you can just make it look more narrow. And if you have a long nose, I would not recommend to do this. Everything you see online is not always good for you. Okay, so I'm continuing with the sculpting powder using a very fluffy and large face brush. Anna has, I'm sorry, but perfectly shaped face shape. So I'm doing the classic shaping, which is on the sides and underneath, right underneath the cheekbones, a little bit higher, and then going downwards towards the mouth, and then a little bit underneath just to close a whole frame. And always when you also blend here on your jawline, make sure to blend it downwards so you won't have a brown line. And now we will do the glow. So I will pick the Bloom palette. Do you know the Bloom palette? It's very popular. It's one of our best sellers. So the Bloom palette is my first face palette in this constellation with 4 pans. And the concept of all of my glow products is always related to the method of professional artistry, which means to achieve beautiful natural glow on your skin, it's always important firstly to use a cream highlighter before you apply a powder highlighter. This will make the powder highlighter melt into the skin. Okay, so I'm firstly taking the cream highlighter, applying it on the higher points of the cheekbones, which is actually, if you have very, very dry skin, you can also use only the cream highlighter. If you have dry skin and it's cold, you know, to achieve a beautiful, fresh looking glow, you can just use the cream and that's it. I hope you can really see. Maybe we can turn this a little bit towards Anna. Yes. Okay, good. And you can see a little bit more of the glow on her skin. Can you see that from there?
Видно вам?
Yeah.
Yes. And to the other side, you see the glow?
Видите с этой стороны блеск?
It's very important when you use highlighters, you start on the top of your cheekbones and then blend around. It's not nice to do something like only a dot. It looks like a stain, which many times you can see on, I don't know, on the internet, you can see YouTubers doing just only 1 dot, 2, and then on the nose. And it's nice for photography or for videos, but in real life you need the cheek and the glow. To give the glow from every angle the light hits you. I like YouTubers, don't think I don't. It's just different, it's for you, you know, for every day, it's a little bit different. And then I have here a cream blush. It looks very dark and intimidating, but I love very pigmented products, so it has a lot of pigment, but it's a cream and you can blend and make it very natural. And this is a great formula. You can use a regular blush brush and you can mix it with the cream highlighter to make it lighter and just swirl it onto your cheekbones. You know, you always have to make sure when you apply blush, so you work like in a high angle, not from low, because then it goes too down, too low, and it makes your face look fallen, you know. And when you work upwards, it will lift the cheeks. It's quite in the middle, in between the nose and the ear, but then always blend upwards towards the cheekbone. And now I'm using a powder highlighter, which is also kind of a duochrome blush and highlighter. You see, it's very strong. You can use it also as a
Как вы видите, да, тут двуххромный.
and you just apply it on top of the creams. And it gives just a two-dimensional shift of color. And you know, that way your glow will stay all day long. And you can touch it and it will not go off. Okay, and if you want to make this into an evening glow, which is more beaming, so like a glass glow, because in the beginning I showed you like a dewy glow and then like a more metallic duochrome glow, and now a glass glow, like 3 different textures of glow. Ooh. So I'm picking up the extreme glow, which is crushed crystals with the finger, and then I'm only tapping it on the upper part of the cheekbone, and then with the residue I'm blending around. See, then it goes like a touch of glow, like more intense for the evening. I've launched a collection of 18 brand new nude lipsticks with a brand new formula. Super comfortable. You have to try. It's yummy. And you know, my iconic looks are always very strong eyes and then a nude lip, right? Oh. And then, you know, many people ask me, oh my gosh, you're using always like nude lips on the models, they're so beautiful. And then they go to the store and they try out a nude lipstick on themselves, and a nude lipstick doesn't look good on everyone. They feel like ghosts. I wanted to create a nude for every person and created 4 different categories of undertones, from light to deep. Yeah, the deep shades are not here, but we have 18 shades from light to deep with 4 different undertones, so it can actually be suitable for every single person. Everybody can find her own nude. There's a category of the beige. The beige has kind of a yellowish undertone. You don't really see yellow, but it's good for red skins. And we have a neutral beige line. The neutral beige is good for everyone actually. And then we have the pink and the neutral pinks, which are great for yellow skins. And if you have kind of a neutral warm skin tone, then you can choose whatever you want. Everything will look good on you. Anna has kind of a slightly yellowish undertone. Do you see that? Professionals see it immediately. I'm sorry.
Профессионалы, видите вы все.
But she's yellowish. Okay. So I'm choosing lipstick that is more into the pink. You know, guys, usually I use also lip liners, but I don't have one in my range right now. But I'm going to launch them in 1 year.
Через год.
This line is called I Need a Nude, because the chemists in the lab in Italy, they always laugh at me. Everything I create, every single product, I'm saying like, oh, I need a nude. Oh, I need a nude. So in everything, in eyeshadow palettes, in every single product, I feel like I need a nude. So that's why they made me call my line I Need a Nude. So I'm applying this all over the lip, and I think it's a nice combination with the cheeks. It's really nice to combine the cheek color with the lip color, you know, it's very beautiful together. We're almost done. Yeah, that's it.
So what do you think?
Thank you guys.
Вы такие классные.
Thank you, Anna. Oh, thank you so much. You were all so into it. I'm so happy.
Как вам нравится вот эту партию, то, может быть, мы еще год будем думать что-то над формулой и немножко продлим выпуск этой партии.
So if we will launch next year in August, so it will be already 3 years, and if not, then it will be already 4 years. Mascara is very complicated, and I want to do a good one. You know, make one. I mean, I'm eyes. You know, I have to do a good one, so it's hard.
Maybe every makeup artist has his own favorite product. Mine is sunset palette.
Oh.
So, what is your favorite product from your collection?
How can I choose? I mean, I do every single thing with all my heart, you know? Yes, it's like asking your mother which kid you love more. You cannot, you know? I'm always in love with the new one, you know, because I'm so excited about it, and then I look at the older ones again and I'm like, oh my god, and it's super pigmented, and it's very easy to blend. So look at this. Okay, very intense. I love this color. It's my color.
Я люблю этот цвет.
And you can blend. You see how easy? I did this because many times dark shades in pressed powders, sometimes people find it a little bit hard to blend. Even though my pressed powders are also very creamy and not very dry, but still this makes it really easy. And it's very long wearing. So this will be back in more palettes, this formula. I had an idea of a great thing. No one did it yet, so I'm waiting with it. Okay, so I stopped with it right now because I had bigger projects right now and for the next year, so I pushed it out. So brows will come, but not very soon. And I want to make it very innovative.
And what about a small palette with holder,
With?
with cooler shades?
Wait,
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 no.
yes,
Холодными потом.
it's coming
Они приходят.
soon.
Do you feel a sort of pressure because many brands are turning into sort of fast fashion and it's quite a big problem, I think, for makeup?
Fast fashion.
Yeah, do you feel sort of pressure that even Anastasia is launching so many palettes all the time?
I
Like,
think everybody has to know her strategy, what works good for her. I do what I believe in, and everyone has their choices and strategies. So I think that what I'm doing is good for my brand, and yes, so I think it's also good for me that now we're so many launches. It was good to have their moments, you know what I mean, and not to be like in competition with someone. And I will come back.
Я думаю, что
I never feel competitive. I never feel that I have to compete with someone. I just do my thing, you know what I mean? I think we have, like, my brand has its own looks and like a different type of concept and style than the others. It's kind of different from everyone, so I don't really feel that I'm competing with someone or with some products. I feel very confident about my products and the launches. I do what I believe in.
and we love what you do.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. You're so sweet people. Oh my gosh. Thank you. Thank you. Really, thank you. Let's take some pictures. Yay!
Потратить машиночку. Второй пакет льда. Спасибо, Чихара. Будем приматывать. Вообще лед помогает, это, конечно, хорошо. Но печаль, что так вышло. Ну что, ребятушки, я на всякий случай все-таки съездила в травмпункт сейчас. Час 10 ночи. В общем, перелома у меня нет, я просто решила на всякий случай провериться, потому что нога такая большая стала. Сказали, обязательно абсолютный покой. Первые сутки ничего не мазать, прикладывать только холод. Я намазала, что было большой ошибкой, но, по крайней мере, я прикладывала холод, так что хотя бы здесь я молодец. То есть полчаса, 2 часа перерыв, примерно так прикладывать холод. Вот. И если буду соблюдать идеальный покой 5-7 дней, и я буду на ногах на все 100%. Доброй ночи. Берегите себя, ладно? Ваня, мой компаньон лучший на свете.
I'm very happy to launch in Russia finally.
я так счастлива, что продукты SEPHORA наконец-то появились в России.
But it's always good to have a clean base.
Но если вы хотите иметь некую такую чистую канву, чистый цвет,
Because sometimes you have like dark circles on your eyelids.
или у вас есть, допустим, синяки под глазами,
Чистый цвет. You know what it means?
Oh, very good accent.
Чистый цвет. I'm Croatian. Хрватska.
я
I'm
хорватка.
Croatian.
Wow, it's wonderful.
This is Hrvatska. Oh my gosh. So чистый цвет in Croatian means a clean, not canvas, clean flower.
Чистый цветок на хорватском это будет.
My eyeshadow palettes, they come mostly in 15 pans.
Обычно мои тени приходят примерно 15, скажем, в количестве 15. Здесь текстура более такая buttery, более масляная.
And quads. Quads, you can always choose also to create a whole eye look.
И более такие кварцевые, более металлические текстуры.
In general, my eyes, so if you have like hooded eyes,
Глаза с опущенным веком.
Поднимите мне веки.
work above the crease.
И немножко должны работать до складки века, как бы слегка во внутреннюю часть века.
Between the brow and your eyeshadow.
Между бровью и непосредственно веком.
You can work pretty thick because the thin lines underneath your eyes makes your eyes look very small.
Если у вас есть какие-то небольшие складки под глазами, это будет делать ваши глаза маленькими.
I'm trying to lift up the eye.
Пытаюсь, скажем так, раскрыть глаза, сделать очень такой глубокий выразительный взгляд.
Наружу, you know what is ruja?
No idea
Croatian,
really.
rose.
Oh, rose.
Wow, that's amazing. Everything about I hear flowers all the time. Eyes that have a drooped shape. You know, drooped eyes like this, going down.
Если, конечно же, у вас глаза немножко нависают именно как уголками наружу.
Не понял.
Наружу, yes. Чистый палец.
Yeah.
Дома. I want to go дома. Market you can find many matte finished foundations with full coverage.
На рынке вы видите матовые основы, которые смотрятся немного как глина.
You have to mix it well because it's water based.
Так как она основана на воде, не на масле, вам нужно ее немного помешать.
Yeah, wow. You know, using my hand all the time. Sometimes people like to apply foundation also with their fingers. It's fine.
Если люди наносят основу пальцами, все в порядке, но не переживать на эту тему.
So it has a lot of pigment, but it's a cream and you can blend and make it very natural.
Эти кремовые румяна имеют очень много пигмента, поэтому вы можете легко их растушевать.
Два цвета.
Yeah.
Like 3 different textures of glow.
Вторую текстуру блеска, что у меня была идея сделать это.
Государственный номер Владимир 482.
Let's wait.
Видео 199.
Yeah, but my flight is tomorrow. Not now.
Я